Yar, and welcome back to LBG Reviews. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Today we'll be talking about Cat Quest 3, the swashbuckling adventure that will currently conclude our trilogy of videos on Cat Quest games. So, as I had mentioned in last week's video, I don't need to go over not last week, in the Cat Quest 2 video, I don't need to go over just how ludicrous the game's stories have been. Because in Cat Quest 3, the main gimmick is that there was this North Star that fell from the sky many months ago. And that there were a group of cats that found it. And when they did, the star promised them that it could help them follow any desire that they had. And from that day, those people became known as Seekers, individuals who used the power of the North Star to follow their heart's desires. But then, as you explore the game, you learn the North Star wasn't all it's cracked up to be. You learn that the Seekers had actually locked away the North Star. That although yes, the North Star can lead you to your heart's desires will come at a cost. And then, as you progress, as you battle other pirates who are after the North Star as well, you eventually arrive in the North Star's chamber, where you learn that the North Star is actually an eldritch god who wanted the Seekers to basically act as prophets and create a religion around himself because he was feeding off of people's desires and their yearning for his power. This is the first Cat Quest game where your spirited companion, this one named Captain Cappy, I do believe, doesn't betray you. Because as I mentioned in Cat Quest 1, Speary was actually working with Dracoth, but then in Cat Quest 2, Kiri was working with the old kings, but then both of them decided, no, you're going too far, and decided to stick on our side. But then in Cat Quest 3, Captain Cappy, he wasn't working with the bad guys, no. It's revealed at the beginning, right before the boss fight, Captain Cappy broke out of purgatory. He wanted to remain a pirate. He wanted to continue to explore the seven seas. But spirits that break out of purgatory will never stay out of purgatory forever. Captain Cappy was hoping to use the power of the North Star to guide him and the main character to a solution to prevent his fading away. And there are actually hints of what's happening throughout the game. As you fight the main bosses of the game, there will be a rapid rumbling, and Captain Cappy flickers, and he mentions, like, this one's been more severe than the previous. This one's been like they're happening more rapidly, etc. But then, like, every time the character asks about it, he's like, "Oh, it's nothing, matey. Don't worry about it." And then it's revealed at the end that, no, we should have worried about it. We should have known why our friend was trying to do this. But also, in the previous Cat Quest games, there were mention of 3 artifacts, about how Alias wanted to use the 3 artifacts to help save himself or to help bring about the apocalypse. The North Star was the 3rd artifact. Throughout Cat Quest 3, you can find like an avatar version of Alias. He's posing about as various little creatures. There's a moment when like you stumble across him in a bush, and when you talk to him, he says, "Squawk, squawk, I'm a bird, nothing interesting going on here." And then you get teleported into the 0 dimension, where Alias and a bunch of other, I assume aliases from other timelines, are convening in the 0 dimension. And that, as you go about the game, each time you encounter Alias, he gives you a mana crystal to increase the amount of spells you can use at once before you have to attack enemies by hand to regenerate more mana. But basically, at the end of the game, this avatar of Alias says to you, "Sorry about what happened to your friend, because Captain Cappy basically sacrificed himself to prevent the North Star from absorbing our life force." And then Alias and the North Star fade away. As the main character is sobbing, Captain Cappy calls them over, saying, "Matey, come closer," and says, I'm sorry for putting you through this. I'm sorry that it had to end like this. And I guess at the end of the day, I didn't realize that my North Star was right by my side the entire time. That my best friend was guiding me all along. And right as Captain Cappy is about to fade away, we see some streams of light surrounding him before he is brought back to life. Initially, you don't know what happens, but then it cuts to black for a second, and you see the avatar of Alias standing before the others, and they ridicule him, saying, using the power of the North Star to bring back a dying spirit was not part of the original plan. That was a foolish use of an artifact. The avatar of Alias responds, yeah, I mean, whatever, doesn't matter anyways. Besides, their togetherness is what brings them strength. Don't you realize that? And then the other aliases respond, it matters not what, at the end of the day, it matters not what your use does. The apocalypse is coming no matter what. And then the screen pans upwards, and we see some ghostly eyes open. I don't know if you guys have heard about the game ARRRRRRG, a role puzzling adventure, but it's a game that I had a lot of fun playing when it first came out, and I purchased it. It doesn't have any accessibility features worth noting, but the puzzle mechanics are really clever, really deep. It was a lot of fun to play, and I have some fun ideas for that video. And I'm going to try my best to not pull an Outer Wilds where I say I've got some cool plans, but then in reality, oh no, I realize, that's a lot more work than I want to deal with, so here you go. I'm going to try not to do that, but no promises. So yeah, we're talking about ARRRRRRG next week. See you guys then.